Hey y'all, welcome back to From Biscuits to Broccoli. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own laundry detergent at home. This is a super easy way to save hundreds of dollars every year. This is also a great way to cut down on the chemicals in your home. The recipe I'm going to be making today only has a few simple ingredients that you can get at Walmart, Kroger, anything like that. It's a great way to cut down on some of the chemicals coming into your home and you know exactly what's in your laundry detergent. And then also, I have found that this recipe that I'm going to be making today works better than some of the Gain and Tide and things like that. Okay, so let's start with what you're going to need to make the soap. First thing you're going to need is a 5-gallon bucket. I got this at Home Depot. I think it was like $3 or $4. Just make sure it has a tight fitting lid with it. And then you're also going to need a smaller bucket. Again, I got this at Home Depot. I think it was like $3. This makes it easier for transferring the water instead of trying to hold it up to the faucet. A 1-cup measuring cup, some borax, which I believe was about $3, and then some super washing soda, which was $3.69. You're also going to need some bar soap. I've got Fels Naphtha and Zote here. I usually use Fels Naphtha, but a friend of mine was telling me that Zote works really good on whites. So I'm going to make this recipe with the Fels Naphtha, but I think I'm going to make another recipe with the Zote as well. And then an optional ingredient is OxyClean. This works great for like my husband's work shirts, towels, things that are just extra dirty. I try not to use bleach. It's not really healthy to be around bleach, so this is a great alternative to using bleach. And then a pot here to cook down the soap. Alright, so first thing you're going to do is take your Fels Naphtha, your Zote, whatever you choose to use, and you're going to grate it down until it looks like shredded cheese. Now, for the sake of this video, I went ahead and shredded mine down, so let me show you what it looks like. It's going to be real fine, just kind of like, almost like a real fine shredded cheese. So you're going to fill, this is where your measuring cup comes in, you're going to take your pot and fill it with 4 cups of water. Now you're going to put the water on the stove and you want it to boil. So we're going to wait for that to boil. Okay, so now that our water is boiling, we're going to add in the soap, the shredded soap. I forgot to mention, you're going to need a wooden spoon or some kind of spoon to stir with here. You're just going to keep on stirring that until it melts down. It doesn't take very long at all. I love the smell of the stuff. It just smells so clean. This is the Fels Naphtha. It just smells so clean. While I'm talking about smells, let me tell you about, if you want to add some of the like scent boosters or Downy or something like that to give it the smell of your favorite detergent, you can do that. I'll show you in a minute where to add that in. But I like to leave it like it is, or you can also add essential oils to it. Something like orange or lemon or lavender is really good for sheets and bedding and things like that. It helps you sleep at night. But you can add flavoring if you like. I choose to leave mine just plain because I wash the baby's clothes in this and I don't want her to have any kind of reaction. But you can add any kind of fragrance that you want to it. So just keep on stirring it. You don't want it to stick and burn, so just keep on stirring it. Alright, that's about melted there. Kind of look for any lumps in it. Sometimes you'll get a little lump that doesn't want to melt. Okay. Alrighty. Now that soap is melted down, let's turn the heat down to a low or a simmer, just to keep it from solidifying again while we get the next step ready. Okay, this next step is where your smaller bucket is going to come in handy. Fill it up with the hottest water you can get from your sink. It doesn't have to be boiling, just the hottest you can get from your sink. Fill up the smaller one. You're going to fill the big 5-gallon bucket about halfway full. Alrighty, that's about halfway. Okay, take a cup of your borax, throw that in there. Now you're going to take a cup of the super washing soda, throw that in there. Alright. Now you can get the same spoon that you were using to stir your other soap. Ain't no sense in messing up 2 spoons if you don't have to. And just stir that real good until it all dissolves. And if your water's good and hot, that doesn't take long at all. You know it's dissolved when you're stirring and you don't feel any grittiness down on the bottom of the bucket. Alright, that's about good. Come back to your stove here and give your soap that was on your Fels naphtha or your Zote, whatever you chose to use, give that another good stir here. Alright. We're going to dump this into the mixture. Be careful, this is still really hot, so be careful with this step. You may see a little bit of kind of like soap scum stuck to the side of your pot. That's okay. That doesn't affect the soap. Alrighty. Take your spoon again. Give it another good stir. Get all those ingredients mixed real good. Now this is the step where if you're going to add anything like scent boosters or essential oil or anything like that for fragrance, put it in at this step. If you do decide to use essential oils, for this big of a gallon or this big of a bucket, I tend to use about 40 drops of whatever oil I'm using. That seems to give it a good fragrance. Alrighty. Now we're going to take our small bucket again and we're going to fill this up with hot sink water. Okay, so again, you don't have to use boiling water. This is just the hottest sink water that you can get. You're going to take this and you're going to pour it in. You want to fill up your 5-gallon bucket until there's about 2 inches of room left at the top. You want to have enough room to stir it. Let's get a little more water in there. Okay, a little more water. Alright, that's about good. And this recipe is kind of like when your grandma used to make cornbread, a dash of this, a dash of that. You don't have to be exactly precise with the ingredients. It still turns out. Every time I've ever made it, it always turned out. So give that a good stir. Okay. Now you're going to take your lid, put it back on your bucket, and make sure it's good and tight. You don't want any air getting in there. Alright. Now set this off somewhere where nobody's going to mess with it. Don't put it outside, it will freeze. But put it off somewhere just in your house and let it sit for 24 hours. When you take the lid off after 24 hours, you're going to think it messed up, but it didn't. It's going to be liquid at the bottom with a gel floating on top about that thick. If you have one of those immersion blenders, those are the best thing to use to really get it mixed up well. But if not, just use a regular blender or a long spoon and stir it up really good. And it'll look weird. It'll be like a liquid with kind of chunks floating in it. That's what it's supposed to look like. Leave it in the bucket, or you can transfer it to a laundry soap container. I use old vinegar bottles. That's what I use for mine. But either leave it in the bucket or transfer it to whatever container you want to use. When it's time to do your laundry, you're going to use a cup of the homemade detergent. And if you want to add some of the OxiClean, you can. I do about 1 scoopful. There's a little scoop inside of it. I use about a scoopful per load. But just do your laundry like normal from there on. Works great for me. I hope it works for you. Thank you for watching. Bye, y'all.